Welcome back to the channel. I'm Lady Nika in with last night's episode, second episode of Iyanla Fix My Life. It was season 5, episode 3, The Mitchell Brothers, part 1. And y'all, that one was deep too. Let me get my notes out, honey. We meet the Mitchell brothers. A total of 8 siblings is actually what this family has. 7 boys and 1 girl. Now, on the show, only 5 brothers came. One of the brothers, Miguel, was killed in 2013, and they have another brother that's named Montre that is currently doing 70 years in prison for a string of armed robberies, and he went in at the age of 16. We learned that they were born from drug addicted parents who eventually they were taken from and put into the foster care system. And by all accounts, on what we hear on this episode, the foster care system failed them as well. We got Michael, he's Mikhail, 30 years old. Melvin, 28. Marcus, 32. Michael Jr., 36. Marvin, I think, was 29. They all come to the healing house to try to figure out what their problem is. Now, it's been 4 years since these boys have all been under the same roof. The last time they were under the same roof was when their brother Miguel died. Iyanla wanted to sit down with them, so she had all of them come sit down. In the way she sat them was in sequence of their ages, from oldest to youngest. Okay. Um. Again, we tackle the fact that they have drug addicted parents. Some of them were even born with drugs in their system at birth, and they did discuss the 2 missing siblings, and they mentioned that they have a sister. And we find out that Marcus is angry with Michael Jr. because he was there when the brother Miguel was killed. Now, Michael Jr. is mentally challenged. But Marcus blames Michael Jr., saying that it's more to the story than them getting robbed by some guys. And he and Miguel go back, and they go back to confront these dudes, and Michael gets shot in the leg. Meanwhile, Miguel dies. That's Marcus' issue. He upset because he feel like Michael inability uh to function without some assistance is the reason why the brother Miguel went back to try to get some retaliation for them, whoever robbed them. He went back to try to stand up for his brother, and in doing that, he got killed. And Marcus feel like, even though he understands that it's not his brother's fault, Michael Jr., that he is mentally challenged, he feel like, had you not been like that, then you would have been able to defend yourself, and we wouldn't have lost the brother. So it's really bad. And in a sense, stories like this is not uncommon, and there are several stories, circulating around when something like this happens. So that's another thing. It's so many different stories, but it's like he don't want to listen to the story that the brother that was there is telling. Child, Iyanla listened, and Marcus said that the situation was going to somebody was in a situation like that. Somebody was gonna die. She said, right, and someone did die. It just wasn't the person that you expected. It was your brother. And now you feel like it is Michael Jr.'s fault. She said Michael didn't do anything wrong, and neither did Marcus, even though he feels otherwise. So we begin to see the breakdown in that point, in that moment. Marcus said, "I never let anything happen to him, so he is carrying a whole lot of guilt by not being there to protect his brother." And Iyanla said that wasn't his job to protect his brother; it was his father's job, and he failed. Marcus has 4 kids, we learn, all boys, and Iyanla said, "Oh, baby, we got to get that anger under control, or you going to pass that on to his kids. Plus, it will lead to him shooting somebody or being shot. When you angry like that, that's the only kind of energy that's going to be drawn to you." She said, either way, it was going to be tragic, because what if Miguel had shot someone? And the other brothers was like, yeah, he'd been in prison. And Marcus said, no, he wouldn't have been, because if they would have called me, I would have did it. Then she said, well, what if you would have been like Miguel? What if you'd have wind up getting killed? He was cool with that because in his eyesight, he don't mind dying for them. He feel like he a burden to society anyway. So it doesn't matter if he lose his life long as he protect his four boys. You see the breakdown. You see the problem here. Y'all see the issue that we beginning to see come to fruition in our face about what's going on in this family right here. Never mind, he just said he had four kids out there to protect his brother. He would do what he had to do, and if it meant he died, cool. And even if it meant he went to prison, cool. But he protected his own. They asked him, well, why you can't protect and understand Mike Jr.? And he said, I'm so mad. I'm so hurt and angry over it happened. I can't see past it to be able to feel anything for my brother right now. She asked, was he willing to work on it to get to the other side of it? And he said, yes, that's why I came. And I said, see, this is how the process begins. You got to be accepting. So for everybody that's beating Iyanla Van Zant down for the Kamaya Mobley situation, I think y'all really need to give her a chance and think about the situation. First of all, Iyanla is not here to fix your life in one episode. I had to learn too, y'all. I used to be really not here for Iyanla. Like, bitch, you can't fix nobody's life in no 40 minutes or 50 minutes episode. And then when I sat down and I watched the Kamaya Mobley situation, I was even more feeling like that. And then I started to think throughout the week, what is her purpose? So I went back and I watched some old episodes. I went all the way back to when she first started doing this. And then I caught some clips on YouTube where she was saying what it is that she does. And it made sense. Iyanla Fix My Life is not necessarily fixing your life. She sets you on the road to fix your life. As a life coach, her job is to identify the problem, help you identify what the problem is, and from once you find out what the problem is in your life that's keeping you from being great, she gives you the tools aftercare. She has an aftercare situation going on. She has different facilities and people that you can reach out to after the show ends that you can contact. And I don't know how that shit go, but I know that she gives you an outlet. It ain't just like, come let me exploit your life on TV for 50 minutes and then I'm gonna let you go and you figure it out from there. No, she actually has a plan implemented for each guest. Like, she provides them with the opportunity to continue the healing process. But first, in order for her to offer those services to you, you have got to be willing to go through the process of allowing her to find out through your honesty and willingness what the problem actually is. And that's what I got from her over the last week when I started to research her to see if what's going on. Cause y'all know I told you she was a voodoo queen. I felt like she was down in that basement doing some things. But in actuality, on some real shit, the lady is not here to save your life. She's only here to identify some of the problems that you have that's keeping you from being that better you. And from there, she offers you the opportunity to continue to work on making yourself better, thus fixing your life if you open to it. That's what she's doing. And that's what she was asking Marcus if he was willing to go to the other side. Because, see, he said he can't get over there to the other side because this wall of anger is blocking him from being able to understand that A, it's not my brother's fault, and B, at least I didn't lose both of them that day. Because, see, we didn't even address the fact that Michael Jr. could have been killed too. As much gunfire as he said went on in that situation, Michael Jr. could have walked out of there with more than just his leg shot. He could have lost his life, and there would have been two brothers you lost. So instead of being so angry, work through the process, identify it, and then we can work on trying to heal it. But you can't heal something you don't know nothing about. She said not only is she there by request, but she's there dedicated to the black family and our issues. She said your issues don't necessarily start with gangs and drugs, but it was started a long time ago with our ancestors when they were ripped from our lands and brought into this country to work for the man. And I can identify with it. Can you? Hmm. That's a real moment for me. But anyway, she said she ready to help them see the pain. Now we speak with Marvin first. He reached out to Iyanla, so she spoke to him on about what he had been through. He explained that he and Melvin were in the same foster home at first, and then someone was interested in adopting all six of them, and that's how he found out that he actually had these siblings. He said that was when they started building a relationship, but he and Marcus never got along well. He said Marcus is crazy to him because he gets mad and he starts wanting to throw things and fight. And Iyanla asked if he felt that he was what if he was a troubled child? What she asked, do he know Marcus' story? No, he didn't. He admitted he didn't know if Marcus what Marcus been through up until that point when they came into each other's lives, and that was to make him think, before I just dismiss him as crazy, he's doing this for a reason. Then she asked what he had been through, and he said that he, Melvin, and Miguel were together, but then they were like on their seventh home, foster home, when Melvin and Miguel ran away, leaving him alone. Then it was a 19-year-old person that the person who's over, the foster care, the foster mother, she had had a child in her home. The child had aged out, and some kind of way this person became homeless, and the foster care mother was one of them type of mothers that the love don't stop because the check stopped and you aged out. She allowed him to come back into the home, right? And when he got there, he was making friends with Marvin, buying him things, telling him you gonna be my little brother, and he felt like cool. My brothers already done abandoned me, so why not? But he said he always wondered why was the guy being so nice to him. He said he knew at one point he was going to have to pay for this generosity because people just don't do nice things for you just because. He went on to say that one night he was asleep, and keep in mind he's on medications for depression, so he on antidepressants. They knock you out like that, I know, but he said that he had went to sleep one night and he could feel someone tugging at his pants. He said he didn't fight. He allowed it to happen. And she asked him why. He said because he knew that eventually he would have to pay for all the nice things that this 19-year-old person was doing for him. So he felt like letting him violate him was his was his pay. That's how he was gonna have to pay. So he said nothing. And that just made my heart drop because I know how they feel. Yeah, I was there. I was there up until maybe a year ago, believe it or not. I feel like anytime somebody did something nice to me, it was for a reason. And they come from my childhood. Cause after my mother died, anytime anything nice was done for me, it usually because one of my cousins needed me to babysit, or they wanted me to write something for them, or talk for them on some type of situation. It was always something. It was never I'm gonna come in here and be somebody, be nice to me and do things for me just because. It was always surrounded something I had to give of myself in order to for them to be that way. So when he said that, that kind of just really hit home for me, and it's part of why I had to get me a drink last night and leave this alone, not come down here and talk to y'all about it last night because it was too much. It was too real for me because I know how it feels when you ain't used to that. I had 13 years of normalcy and damn near 20 some odd years of malfunction, dysfunction. Okay, so I knew how he felt. You didn't say nothing because you feel like if I say something, well, that's kicking him in the face for all the nice things he did. And I knew going in that don't nobody do nothing for you nice unless they want something from you. And Iyanla said, let's change your thought process on that. And she went over there and she held him and was nice to him and didn't want nothing from him. She didn't want his body. She wasn't trying to make him say anything. She just was nice to him and let him lay there and let that go, because he started crying because he really don't deal with that. He said that he has the way he copes with it nowadays, he travels to meet men and find love between their legs. So then I was like, was he born this way, meaning gay, or is he? Because it's clear he gay. It made me wonder, and I ain't being funny, and I hope don't know, because I know so many sensitive ass people on YouTube. I'm not saying that being gay is something. I believe that it's who you are. It's who you were born into this world to be. But I also I'm not stupid. I know it's people out here who that life was thrust upon. And I wonder, was he always liking males from younger, or did it become his way of life after he was violated by the 19-year-old who came back into the foster care house that he was living in, because they was homeless? Y'all get what I'm saying? I hope y'all do, because I ain't trying to child. This is why I don't really like this show, dealing with this on camera, because I feel like I'm going to be arguing with people and I ain't trying to argue. I'm not saying that people who are gay can be changed their way necessarily, but there is that percentage out there that get in, that things happen to them and they flow like that. And that was my question in that moment: is this child gay because that's who he always have been, or did he swing this way because he was violated at such a young age? That's all I'm saying. He said he do think of suicide, and he does deal with depression. Iyanla said he needed to tell the parents what he went through when he was in, and it's not his fault. It's their fault that they left him in a situation like that. Man, these boys is ooh. They were failed by the parents and the system, like I said. They had an exercise of building whatever that was. Marcus got a little bit irritated with or was it Marvin? One of them got irritated with Marcus. And like I said, Marcus is very angry, and it shows in how he acts and how he talks with them. He was like, the guy was just standing there not doing nothing, and he over here breaking a sweat. It pissed off, I think it was Marcus, and he's just like, I ain't got time. He almost called him a couple bitches and shit on here, but he know that he don't want to disrespect his brother like that, because he know he got a temper, and he probably got a level of respect for him. So after he walked off for a minute and Iyanla came, he gathered himself. Then he went back over there and they completed the task on their own. And Iyanla pointed out, look what y'all can do when y'all work as a team. You didn't need no guidance or nothing. Y'all got back to the task at hand, completed it. And if you can do this together, working with each other, imagine what you can do. Marcus and Iyanla talked, and he said that he always felt that he had to look out for his brothers. Technically, Michael Jr. is the oldest, like I said, but because he has mental issues, and Michael Sr. wasn't much and not around, it fell on Marquise to be like the protector of the brothers. And that's got to be a heavy ass load for a child to take. He said he understands Michael is challenged. He said he and his brothers did leave Marvin, but he didn't. He thought because that family loved him and treated him so well that he would be okay. He knew that they was gonna be on the run and didn't know what it was gonna be all about to be out there in them streets trying to run away. So he thought leaving his brother there was safe. Iyanla said, well, they did hurt him. And child, he broke down because he feel like he failed them. And she had to remind him that this ain't your fault again. Your father is the person that failed y'all, not you. Child, we talk brute force and how he uses that to make things happen. And she used this analogy of a car. She said, now suppose you in your car and the battery goes out. You can push that car. You can push it to the mechanic. You can push it out to the side of the road. But if you ever want this car to work again, you're going to have to do what? Replace the battery. That's the only way it's going to run. And the shit made sense to me. It made a whole lot of sense. And he opened up to it too, because it made sense to him too. Then we got Michael Sr. comes to the healing house, and he was nothing like what I intended. Now, I seen the previews of the mama. She looked like how I expected her to look. But the dad don't. He don't look like he ever dealt with any harsh drugs or anything like that. He don't look cracked out or nothing. Daddy didn't want to call a thing, in my opinion. And now he's saying that his wife left him with the kids because he was cheating and he was using drugs and she was using drugs. Then he tried to say he wasn't sure if his kids were born with drugs in their system or not. And I'm like, well, hold up. She left you after she had these kids. You and her was on drugs. So when she was pregnant, did you or did you not see her on drugs? He was like, yeah, he did. Okay, well then you knew your children were born with that shit in their systems. It doesn't matter if she did it every day or every 2 days. You knew your kids, the potential for this shit to be in your children's system was high because she was sitting up in there being a junkie bitch. Girl. Y'all both was junkie. Daddy, although he accepted certain responsibilities of how he failed these kids, he wanted to move on. And Ayana told him that she fighting herself not to be angry at him. So just imagine how your kids feel. You can't just skip through what they done been through because they still going through a lot of that. And because you want to skip past it instead of dealing with it, is the reason why your children are estranged to you right now. He said he oftentimes wondered why she left him alone, the mother, with the kids. Let's see, both of y'all junkies. She knew she had junkie babies. Junkies don't think with the right state of mind, so of course she gonna try to take off and run because she don't need that extra responsibility. It's a responsibility to just try to get high every day. It sounds sad, but that's the mind of a junkie. I guess next week we're gonna learn more about that mom and the tales from the hood during the crack epidemic is when all of this was going on. It's not a difficult picture for you to really figure out what's going on with these people. She told him he failed as a father and he said that he talked to them but they don't never open up. And the reason why they don't open up, like I said, is because you wanna skip past what they've been through and they can't skip past it because they still living it every day. I was getting mad at him. I found myself getting real mad at this man because, again, y'all, I've been there with a lot of this stuff. Now, not necessarily, I wasn't addicted to shit and my mama wasn't. And to my knowledge, my father wasn't. But I know how things can be in a family. How, uh, mm, mm, mm. It's a hot mess. It's like he don't want to take no responsibility for what happened. I just don't understand him. I really don't understand him. I don't understand why he think that them boys are just going to want to be around him and talk to him, and yet and still he don't want to give them answers to the questions that they have, because they got questions. They want to know, how did we get here? You know. Michael Jr. shared that he don't have a good father. He didn't have a good father figure in his life either. So see how the cycle happened. I told you the sins of the parents fall down to the children. Michael Sr. didn't have no good father figure or nobody in his life to show. No, his father wasn't there to guide him. See how when he grew up and became a man, how he wasn't there for his children. And if they don't get a grip on this, now what about those boys with their kids? You already got Marcus got 4 kids. You see how his mental state is? It's a cycle. And you can see it, the picture that she's painting very vividly. And I hope that this family takes advantage of it. Look like they is, though. They don't look like they gonna do like Kamaya and her brother and her daddy. I'm sorry. It look like these people are here to really try to get some healing or get in the direction, go in the right direction to start the healing process. He began to cry and stuff, but like I said, it's good that he's starting to realize what happened, but he gonna have to be willing to talk to them, and he gonna have to be willing to sit down and listen to him. And that's basically what Iyanla said. She said, no matter what comes out their mouth, you gonna have to be able to sit there and take it, because all of this started with you and your wife. Y'all may not have been prepared to be parents, but y'all became parents, and you didn't have a healthy model to follow, being a parent to your sons, because your daddy wasn't shit. So you passed that ain't shitness down. He passed that ain't shitness down to you. And if we don't get a grip on your 5 boys, they gonna pass that shit down. And it look like next week we gonna get mama. We gonna get her side of the story. And these boys are going to be able to confront their parents and say what it is that they feeling in this situation. I can identify with them boys so damn well. But let me tell you how I identify. Like I told y'all, I lost mine at 13. So I had 13 years of somewhat of a normal life. Then shit went crazy for me. While I was living in the craziness and not having nobody to really pattern or teach me or direct me the right way, I got married and had kids. Now I tried to be that good mama. You know what I'm saying? And then I realized that June Cleaver is a character someone wrote, so I can only be the best that I can be. And I tried my best to be healthy mentally, to be able to be emotionally able to deal with my children. But I oftentimes do go back and I watch a lot of my children's behaviors to see if anything fucked up from me fell onto them, because children are a lot smarter than we give them credit for. Just because I think I was around here being PTA Mom of the Year don't mean that it wasn't something from my childhood and my upbringing that I may have exhibited to them that wasn't healthy for them to see, and they in turn could pass that on. I watch so hard to see if they are in a healthy state of mind at all times. Yeah, they had their ups and downs, but I'm talking about something that could alter their lives, something they could pass down, because I'm aware of generational curses. And that's what this family is going through. Michael Sr. didn't have anybody to show him how to be a good father because his daddy wasn't shit. He passed that down to Montre, Miguel, Michael Jr., Marvin, Marcus, all of them. He passed that on to them. I don't know Mama's story. Next week we gonna get Mama's story. And I like this. I like this because it makes me look at my own life, and it works in conjunction with my therapy. And one of these days when I feel like I'm ready to talk about that, we'll talk about that a little bit more. But I did let y'all know in my second review of this show, that I got issues I work with too every day. But this was interesting. It was real interesting how these boys went through so much. My God, I can't imagine what the girl was going through. Hopefully we'll get some insight on that. But anyway, let me get up out of here, y'all. That's what happened on part one. I hope I made sense. See, the way I do these reviews, I'm going to tell you, my life is going to come into play on each and every one of them because I'm a work in progress. I'm going to try to keep it about the show, but in order for me to drive my point home and to make this make sense for everybody, I may use myself sometime. And I would rather use myself because when I go back and I review these videos, I see the growth. And that's what I'm trying to do here. Anyway, remember, the depth of your struggle will determine the height of your success. It's 7:07. In the meantime, in between time, please rate, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys tomorrow for Real Housewives of Atlanta, because I already know I ain't going to get this shit done tonight. Sorry, y'all. I was trying to get y'all Iyanla today. I will have to do Real Housewives tomorrow. Unless I catch the playback later and I'm interested enough to come and do it. But I'll try, y'all. I will try. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good night. Peace.